Hi everyone, this is Ellie Mae with Swift Creek Customs and Silhouette Secrets with Ellie Mae. I wanted to share 5 tips that I have come across when I'm working with this new product that's called the EasyColor DTV by Siser. These are just 5 tips that hopefully will help you in your journey, and as you can see, I have been playing and I am loving this. I want to share those at the end with you, but first let's get to those tips. So number 1. For a solid design, such as this, or even this design, you do not need a mask. So save your mask. You can peel this design off of the backing. It's all one piece. Peel it off of the backing and just lay it down on your garment. Pre-press your garment and then lay the material down on it, and it will help it to relax, and then you can cover it with either your parchment paper or your Teflon sheet. Number 2, you can reuse your TTDE mask if it does not have any ink that has transferred and there are no fibers on your mask. I was using the mask that I had previously used. I cut it up into pieces and used it for these canvas bags, and what I noticed or started to notice is that the transfer, the mask, would pick up the little fibers, even though I was using a roller to roll all the debris off of it. The transfer mask was picking up the fibers from the bag, which means that my next one that I pressed, it would press those fibers into the letters of my material. So it did stick and it would embed in there. It didn't turn out too bad, but that's something I learned along the way when I was pressing these bags. I did reuse the same piece of transfer tape for all of these boys' bags and all of these girls' bags, and it still worked out. But if you look very closely, and I will throw up a photo that's a close-up right here, you're going to see that there are a few little specks and debris that picked up on the transfer. So you want to make sure of that. If you are using the transfer, try it, and especially if you're selling, you want to reuse a new piece of transfer. It can be reused if it's clean and free of debris, but that, even though it's a low tack transfer, I found that it picked up a lot of fibers or ink. I had a few ink transfers, but not too many. So it's mostly the fibers that I found from your materials in your shirts. Number 3, if you are having issues with the mask and the material not sticking to the mask when you're trying to weed it onto the mask, wait 24 hours after you have printed it, or even longer, before you mask it. This is especially if you are printing with a high photo quality. The more ink that's on the material, the less it's going to want to stick to that transfer. So as you'll see, and I'll link my videos below that I've done where I'm showing the process of my masking, you'll see I had a few issues. I was able to work through them, and I also explained why I thought I had those issues. So it's hopefully will be a little bit more helpful when you see that in real time. But those links are in the description below. So if you have an issue with it, wait 24 hours or longer before you mask it. I know that's not easy to do when you want a really quick project. Sometimes you just need to plan ahead for that. But I will say that even if I printed it same day and then masked it, I just needed to help it a little bit more. I'm still having great success with it compared to what I've had in the past with other brands. Number 4, do not lay your transfer upside down on top of your pre-pressed garment. This one came as a surprise to me when it's happened to me a couple times, because I'm used to, if I find an issue, I will pull the transfer off my garment to reposition it, and then lay it upside down on top of that garment while I'm working with it. But here is a little video clip of what happens. So when you have your transfer and you flip it upside down on top of your garment, the heat activates it and it starts to curl. So you don't want that because then it'll fall off. And I've had a couple issues. There's a video below. If you watch it, you'll see I lost a couple letters here and there. I worked with it. I fixed it. Things don't always go perfectly, but that was a tip I picked up. Make sure you have a flat space next to your heat press that you could set your transfer down if you needed to. Just don't do it on top of your garment or you might see that DTV curl up on your mask. Number 5. So print bleed. I am working with Silhouette Studio. Print bleed is amazing. Now I am using a version of 4.4.552 in all of the tutorials and the videos I have done so far. Print bleed works in that version and it shows up in the print preview. So if you want to check out those videos below, I show that specifically in my print and cut tutorials and in the videos. I'm very specific. I have a video when I'm working with one of these shirts, the sarcasm shirt that I put out. I show both without a print bleed and with a print bleed, and it makes a big difference. With the Silhouette Studio and Silhouette cutting machines, there is a 1/16 inch allowance that is within the normal range to be off on a print and cut. When you're working with a design that's contour cut like this with a material such as the DTV that is a white background, you will notice that if there's a white edge on it. One way you can help this out is to use the print bleed. Now in later versions of the Silhouette software, it is currently broken. They are aware, they're working on it. You can either go back to a version that it works in, which I'm using again, 4.4.552, which is found under the Legacy, and I'll put a link down below for you to be able to find that. Or you can use an offset and create your own print bleed, which just means that you create an offset and fill it with color. So you're giving yourself a little bit of leeway in that print bleed. So 2 ways, more information in the description below. The biggest tip I can give you is to just grab some, order some where you can find it in stock. It's very popular right now. Order some and just have fun playing. As you can see, I have been having some fun. So I want to share some of these with you. All of these are printed through a Canon printer, which will be linked below. I've used everything except for on my very first print, which is not in this video. I've used the paper quality at the high setting, which was recommended by Siser. I have started to let my prints dry for 24 hours to see if it helps me with the masking. I'm still helping it and that works great. So I have a video out there. This is a shirt that I created for my son. This is a design from the design store. This is one I had to actually run out and get a shirt to put it on that I just pressed. There's one underneath here. This is one of my first ones that I did with the no mask needed, and I used a Teflon sheet so it has a bit of a glossy texture. So a Teflon sheet will give you more of a glossy finish versus parchment paper, which gives you more of a matte finish. Here's another one. I finally found one of those designs that matches short hairstyles versus the messy bun style. So I made one with red hair, and then I did an American flag. Now I also created, when working with this, rather than just doing garments and t-shirts, I made up these little goodie bags for my children's friends for back to school. And so I just took and I used the transfer mask. This one I reused it on. And like I said, when I did, there's little specks from the fibers in here that it picked up off the cotton bags. They're for the kids. They won't even notice. They'll just open it up and dump it all out anyhow. But then I filled this little bag with some goodies for back to school, suckers, and just some random things for the kids to have fun with. But it's a personalized back to school bag for all the kids in our little friends group. So you can use it on many materials and multiple things. The biggest thing, get some, have fun, play with it, test it out yourself, see what you can do. Make sure to follow, if you're using Silhouette, make sure to follow the tips for print and cut. If you have issues, check out the tutorials in the description below. Thanks for joining me. I hope those tips help you to have success with both print and cut and with Siser's EasyColor DTV. Have a great day.